Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. We have our weekly campaign update for our D&D game back here. And this past Friday, we took back up again to start back up with the Against the Giants campaign. Let's do that right there. There you go. And if you remember where we left off last time, our heroes had just got to the staging area. There's a hidden cave where they can use kind of as a base before they assault the giant compound. That is where we left off the previous week and where we started up this past Friday. Now, before going any further, a couple things to address. Number one, there will be spoilers in here for anybody that has never played this campaign before, whether it be 1st edition or 5th edition or whatever. There could be spoilers. Just, you are warned. Number two, please click like, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment, check out the merch link below, whatever. Any support that you can offer is greatly appreciated as always. Thank you. So, continuing on. So they started out, and they were in the cave. They were strategizing about what their best, what's the word I want to use here? Their best approach to the compound would be. They had our one ranger druid who has a hippogriff as a steed, had him fly up and scout over the compound. It was nighttime, but he's an elf, so he has infravision, so it worked out. He scouted it out and came back and said, it's basically like the scout Sam, who from the previous episode, he was the one who showed them the cave and everything and said, okay, if you go up that way, that's how you get to their compound. I'm out of here, and he kind of drew him a rough sketch, of the compound and how to get up there and etc. He basically said, yeah, it's basically what Sam, put down. There's not a whole lot to it. There's one main entrance, blah, blah, blah. And there's an open, like in the middle of the compound, there's like an open area, which looks like there are wolves, like some kind of big dire wolf type, corral thing, And so then they decided, of course they had the general, well, let's just burn the damn thing down. Let's, see if there's a back entrance. Let's, all these different options. And they realized they couldn't burn it down because they're there to rescue Dorian Lightfoot's wife, who was abducted by the giants at one point. If she's still alive, she may be in that compound. They can't burn it down. Well, they could, but they're choosing not to. So after much deliberation, they decide they're just going to go to the front doors and see if they can sneak in that way, because it's at Sam's urging. They should approach at night, late at night, after the giants have consumed copious amounts of mead and ale, and hopefully are either drunk or sleeping or both. So they sure enough go to the front. They open the doors, and there are the two guards, hill giant guards, are sleeping inside the front doors with a big cask of ale or whatever there that they've obviously been partaking in. And there is an assassin in the group. He assassinates one of them, and then they kill the other one simultaneously, basically. So they quietly dispatch the two of those giants. And then they do the search of there's all kinds of like pegs up on the wall, cloaks and bags and all that stuff, because this is obviously the entryway. And they find, just a few things of interest, that are worth saving. Everything else is junk. They see that there's some stairs going up, so that goes up to a guard tower. They go up there. There's another sleeping giant up there who's also been drinking. They dispatch him, disconnect the the hoop and the bar, which would be used as an alarm. They disconnect that, so that can't be used. And they go down and they systematically manage to skirt around like the big hall where it's presumed there's going to be a large concentration of giants. So they manage to skirt around and go down a hallway, and they clear some rooms. And one of the rooms that they just happened to clear, there was a torch burning in a sconce on one side of the room, and on the other side of the room there was the same type of torch, but it was unlit. So the gnome illusionist assassin decides, well, I'm going to go over there and light that one so we have more light. And the minute he touches it, it was an illusion, and it turns out that it's a sword that's stuck in there instead of an unlit torch. And they identify it with, the magic user uses identifier, and they identify the item. Well, they didn't have to identify. They checked to see if it's magical, and it was very magical. And so then the sword just decides to start speaking to them, because it's an intelligent sword, and it's sentient, and it can speak. And it speaks multiple languages. They're able to communicate with it. And it basically says that it is a giant slaying sword. And that its owner is one of the visiting cloud giants of all things. And that he brought it for protection against the other hill giants in case it was an ambush or whatever. So they now have a giant slaying sword in the compound of the giants. So they hand that off to one of the rangers, who already rangers get a bonus against giant types. So that's quite a boon for them. And that was just luck of the draw. They happened to go one particular direction, and that gnome happened to go specifically to that unlit thing and touch it, and it says right in the thing, if someone touches it, it dispels the illusion, and now they have a giant slaying sword in the compound of the giants. So they just happened to zig the right way when they could have zagged, and but no, it went well for them, let's say that. So they continue to clear some rooms. They find the kitchen, where there's a bunch of orc slaves. They're orc youths, slaves that are enslaved in the kitchen by some female giants that are in there, who all are terrified at seeing the party, and they take off and around a corner, and they're not seen again. During investigation, further into the room, they find a staircase going down around the corner of the room there. So our party is assuming that they went down those stairs, but they started to go down the stairs and thought better of it and decided they better go back up and finish clearing the top floor before they decided to go down into the basement. So they cleared some more rooms, including a room of ogres that were gambling and drinking. That was a little bit of a challenge, but not entirely too much. They found another room that had like 6 female giantesses in it, along with one hill giant warrior or whatever. Make of that what you will. And they cleared that room, and then they went down and decided there was some double doors, and they listened to that, and they could hear quite a bit of racket on the other side of partying and that type of thing, drinking of ale, raucous laughter, whatever, arm wrestling, but it sounded quite loud on the other side of the door in what is presumed to be some type of big room with a lot of people in it. And at the end of the night, they opened those doors to find, and again, spoilers, if you haven't played this, they find the Great Hall, which is in the middle of a full banquet. And there are somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 giants of different types, as well as a bunch of ogres. And the rangers even noticed to get the whiff, a familiar whiff of a bear, because there's a big-ass cave bear, which is somebody's pet, which is in there. And they quickly, of course, shut the doors again. We decided as a group, we said, well, I said as the DM, I would prefer, we were missing one player, I would prefer to have everybody at the table for this particular encounter, because it's massive, because I want everybody to be able to experience it, and number two, I want everybody playing their own characters, because this is a crucial encounter, obviously. And I said, it was already 11 o'clock at night, and I said, why don't we start back up right here, right as you guys are opening the doors to this room, and we'll go from there once we have everybody at the table, and we'll start the session, because who knows how long this particular combat is going to take. And so that's where we stopped. So we are going to kind of retcon a little bit and basically say, that they opened the doors quickly, and they had a magic user who basically had a spell prepared, and I'm going to say, I'm going to let him let that particular spell fly before they shut the doors again, and that's where we're going to start up, is that they have cast that one spell, slammed the doors shut, and then the battle is on, So that's where we're going to start the next session, which for this particular campaign will be one of our players is going to be gone on vacation for 2 weeks, so we're going to skip those 2 weeks, because again, I want everybody there. So we're going to start up, we're taking a 2-week hiatus. And so that's where we ended up. That is where they are in the Giants. First of the Giants modules. So, that's the first thing. Second thing I wanted to go over real quick. I got this from Goodman Games. And if you're not familiar with this series from Goodman Games, this is they take the old school modules. They've done, this is number 6, as it says number 6 there. They've done several of these already, 5 before this one. But this is the first that they have done a 2-volume set. And this thing is massive. Now, for scale, this, of course, is the Temple of Elemental Evil, one of the absolute classic D&D campaigns. This is the original. Put it over here, I guess. And that's how big that is. Let's see if we can. There you go. That's how big that is. And it is 128 pages. I don't know how many pages this 2-volume set thing is, but this has, so that original one there, it does have the standalone Village of Hamlet integrated into it, but this was the very first mod. This was, and that's just tiny. This is just like, it's only like, 64 pages maybe? Something like that. Not even that. It's like 28 pages maybe? Yeah, like 28 pages. So, but don't forget that in this one right here, this is included. And it's still only as big as it is. This is everything. And what I believe they've done is, from skimming through it and everything, is they have all the original content and everything in here in its original form, reprinted for, homage sake. And then they've, for both of these, for the Village of Hamlet separately and then the temple itself, they've expanded those into 5th edition adventures campaign, a mini campaign or a full campaign or whatever you want to call it. How do they have it here? They have a 5th edition conversion and classic homage. So that's what this basically is. And it is chock full of content. So this normally they listed at $99, $100. But I picked it up because it had dropped down briefly on Amazon to $70, and I snatched it up because I don't know that it's ever going to be any cheaper than that. Because the other ones are $50 in their series, and they'll go down, sometimes to, maybe they'll go down to $35 at the most or whatever. So I figured for $70, I'm going to grab this gigantic thing here in this slipcase and everything. So I have to complete these bastards. They know I'm that type of guy. Once I start, I can't have an incomplete set. So if they keep making these damn things, I'm probably going to keep buying them. So anyway, that is it, guys, for this particular video. I hope you're having something refreshing. And perhaps our next video we'll do a live. Maybe tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it about 4 or 5 p.m. To be able to make it easier for those few of you that are in Europe that follow me to be on the live. So anyway, guys, until then, we'll catch you on the flip side.